Hey everybody, welcome back to Home Economics. I'm your instructor, Erica, and today we're going to be making a nice elevated lasagna. So this is a great recipe if you're looking to kind of bring up an everyday favorite or if you're cooking for that special person in your life. So as always, put your aprons on and let's get started. To begin, let's gather all of your ingredients. You're going to need the following: ground beef, 1 block of Parmesan cheese, mozzarella cheese, 2 beef bouillon cubes, any veggies of your choice, lasagna sheets, tomato sauce, tomato paste, basil, oregano, Italian seasoning, salt, pepper, cottage cheese or ricotta cheese, parsley, and onion. To begin, we will need to turn our oven on to about 350 and let that preheat, and then get a big pot and turn your stove on. And we'll begin by prepping our aromatics. Take a few tablespoons of olive oil, and that's about actually all I have left at the moment. It's not a whole lot in there. Let's dump our onions in, and let's start letting those sweat for a little bit. Once your onions start to sweat, and mine actually got a little toasty because I got distracted, we'll add in some minced garlic. Now, I chopped mine up. I just got maybe about 5 or 6 garlic cloves and chop those up. But you can use the garlic if you'd like, whatever works the best for you. And I'm actually going to see if I can find some more olive oil because my onions are burning. I'm all out of olive oil. I'm out of vegetable oil, which is odd for me because I always keep those on hand. I'm going to use a little water. Good as new. So let's toast up that garlic, the onions, get those flavors going. This is really hot on my hand. You can see that it's starting to get some color. Once we get that looking the way that we want, we'll add in our ground beef and start to let that cook. So I'm using 80-20 ground beef just because it's got a little bit more fat, and fat means flavor. So we're going to put that in there. I'm going to wash my hands really quick and then start to brown that. Yeah. So brown the ground beef. Once I get this browned, I'm actually going to add in some mushrooms as well. So I like a little veg in my lasagna. It's a great way of kind of getting in some extra veggies, especially if you have like picky kids and you need to hide vegetables in their food. Lasagna is actually a great way to do that. We're also going to add spinach to it as well. I love spinach in my lasagna. Getting tomato sauce on my elbow. This is what we're looking at right now. I'm going to brown this up and then we'll come back. Our ground beef is just about completely done. I see a little bit of pink left, but while that's finishing, we'll add the mushrooms. Let those cook and soften up like so. Our ground beef didn't have a lot of fat dripping, so we're not going to worry about draining it. So we'll take 2 cans of regular tomato sauce. Throw that in the pot. And then 1 small can of tomato paste, which I might need to get a different tool for that. Let's see. This one's a little more malleable. Put that in. Now, I am no stranger to jarred sauces that, you basically just add your ground beef to and you add a little bit of seasonings and you're done. But I really like making my sauce homemade for any of my pasta dishes or anything else that I'm making that requires a tomato sauce. I like the fact that you can kind of control the flavors, and it just, I don't know, it's just something that just feels warm to the gut. So the next thing that we're going to add is some fresh basil. So my garden is a little crusty right now, but I had just a little bit of basil that's, she's trying. So we'll put that in there. Then we'll take 2 beef bouillon cubes. So this is going to add some of that like salty savoriness to the salt. So I like to kind of attempt to crumble mine if I can, just to make sure everything is not too concentrated. This is typically also when you would add in your garlic powder, onion powder. I still haven't gone to the store and bought that garlic powder, so I have a lot of fresh minced garlic in there, so it should be okay. Now I'm adding in some oregano, some Italian seasoning. I think I might have run out of onion powder too, but we have onions in it. We have garlic. We should be okay. Some pepper, pinch of salt, and then we're also going to taste this to see if we need to add any sugar to cut some of the bite out of it, because sometimes tomato sauce can have a bite. Okay, let's give it a taste to see if it needs some sugar. I need just a little bit. Add about a tablespoon. Stir it up. Much better. Okay, great. Now we're going to add in an ingredient that most people don't do. So we have our Parmesan cheese block, right? And you see how the cheese has a rind on it? What we're going to do is we're going to cut this rind off and we're going to let it simmer in our sauce. And so what this does is it adds a little bit more savory and smoky flavor, but also a little umami. Now, the important thing to remember about this is that your Parmesan cheese rind is not going to entirely cook down. So you're not going to get this like, I don't know, added cheesy gooiness to it, because this isn't going to cook down. So you will have to take this out once the sauce is ready. But if you wanted to leave it in, you would have to blend your sauce up a bit, like with an immersion blender or a food processor. So we're going to put that in. I'm going to grab the pot lid, and we're going to let this simmer on like medium low for about, let's say 20, 30 minutes or so, just so all of those flavors can come together and we get a great tasting sauce. While our sauce is simmering and getting all full of deliciousness, we need to work on some of our lasagna filling. So I have some cottage cheese here, which you can use ricotta cheese or cottage cheese. I prefer cottage. This is actually the only way I like cottage cheese is in my lasagna. So we're going to take about maybe a cup and a half of cottage cheese and put it into a bowl. I got this at Aldi's and I had to get a big container of it. I wanted a small one, but this is all they had. And then I have some fresh parsley that I chopped up. And we're going to put that in the bowl, as you can see here. Now, you can use dried parsley if you'd like, but fresh, of course, always is going to have a stronger flavor. You're going to give it a good mix. Set the rest of that to the side. And now this will be ready for when we assemble our lasagna. Our sauce should be done now, so let's take a look and see. Everything's looking so good. It's smelling good. So now we're going to go ahead and fish out that Parmesan rind. Now, apparently, according to the internet, you can reuse this. I guess you would just maybe rinse it off, I guess. I'm going to go ahead and throw it away, but according to Google, you don't necessarily have to. Now that that's done, it is time to assemble. Our sauce is ready, so now it's time to assemble our lasagna. So I have some of the oven ready lasagna sheets. Now, normally, if I was like really, really trying to do something special, I would actually make my own lasagna sheets. Now, making homemade pasta, it tastes so much better, but it is a little messier and it just takes a little bit longer. But we'll do that on another for another cooking class, and I'll show you how to make some really good homemade pasta. But anyway, let's go ahead and scoop out some of that sauce, and we're going to line the bottom of our pan. And this is about a 9x9 baking dish that we're going to use. Now, if you were going to make a bigger lasagna, of course, you would just need to kind of increase some of the ingredients that we did earlier, but it's just me and my husband. And I'll probably call my best friend and see if he wants some too, because that's just what we do. So you can see here, these are a little bit too long. So I'm just going to break off some of that to make it fit. Jeez. Okay, here we go. Let's see if I can do 2 at a time. It's not too big. Put that down. It looks like I need, let's see if I can break it. Probably not. Ugh. Well, a little bit. Put that in there, and then this one. We'll add a little bit more sauce. I love my lasagna with lots and lots of sauce. Lay that down nicely. Spread it out. Now we'll add some of that ricotta and parsley mixture. And layer that on. Spread that out. Add another layer. Do we want to add another? Yeah, let's add another layer of sauce. The cool thing about lasagna is that you can do it any way you'd like, depending on how you prefer your lasagna. I know a more so traditional way of making lasagna is with like a bechamel sauce, which is like a, I don't know how to describe it. It's not an Alfredo sauce, but it's like a nice cheesy, I don't know. Look it up. I can see it in my head, but I'm having trouble describing it. Okay, now we need to get some of that spinach as well. Add some more sauce. Probably like, Erica, where is the mozzarella cheese? It's coming. Just gonna sprinkle that on there. No, this is actually just some frozen spinach that I thawed in the microwave. I didn't season it because we've already got a lot of flavors and stuff in here. And I actually don't mind spinach just kind of as is. Crazy as that may be. Add the mozzarella. Do we have enough sheets to add one more layer? Let's go for it. We're gonna add one more layer. even though my pan is not very deep. Okay, we'll add the last bit of sauce to the top. And then top with the last bit of our mozzarella. Now, I freshly grated mine because freshly grated cheese tastes better and it melts better. But listen, I understand that we all have lives and everybody doesn't feel like grating cheese all day, which I totally understand. So you can use the bag cheese. It's fine. It's just not going to melt quite as much as in the way that you probably want, but it's fine. We're going to eat it regardless. Then lastly, we're going to take that Parmesan cheese and we're going to take our microplane and we're going to grate it over the top. We're going to cover this with foil and kind of tint it a little bit so the cheese doesn't melt onto the foil. So we're going to put this in the oven for about 25 minutes and then we'll take the foil off and then let it brown on the top for about 5 or so minutes. You can broil it if you want. The broiler scares me because sometimes I get distracted and then all of a sudden now my stuff is burnt. So I'm not going to be broiling, but you can. So let's put this in the oven and we'll come back. All right, we made it to the end and now it is time to prep our lasagna. So I have it plated up right here, which I've sprinkled a little bit of that fresh parsley on top. And then we're going to grate just a bit more Parmesan. Okay, let's give it a try. This looks so good. My kitchen smells good. It's really hot. So good. So many different flavors from the spinach to the cottage cheese and that really good sauce that we took our time with. Very good. Like I said before, this is going to be a great recipe if you're wanting to elevate an everyday favorite or make something for that special person in your life. As always, thank you for tuning in. Let me know if you try this recipe. Let me know in the comments what you think, what you would do differently, or however you like your lasagna. Definitely let me know in the comments. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you next time in class. Alrighty, class dismissed.